Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Hallmark Plus Christmas movies.
Hi, I'm Ryan, and I don't want to lie to the audience.
I'm Dan, and Bran.
What?
I'm Dan, and Bran is lying. This is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's this podcast.
Brandon and friends host this podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Wow, that's this time of the year, huh?
I was gonna say lying and Bran, and then he said lying, and I'm like, do I still go with this or not?
It happens, man. It happens.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
It's great to be here. We've got the first of 3 brand new Cherry Lane movies
The
coming up
good
today.
stuff.
So we're going to break that down. But also, very big news that we haven't gotten to talk to you about.
Yeah.
Because it's been a few
That's
weeks
true.
since we talked about the unwrapping movies.
Missing those, let me tell you.
Remember those good times?
But The Way Home is coming back in January, so we're excited. We're going to get to hang out with you again quite soon.
Can't wait.
But has moved to Hallmark Plus. So you
Yeah.
are now the Hallmark Plus guy, apparently.
Do you think they did it because of me?
Yeah,
They're
they
like,
heard
right
about-
guys over there on the plus.
They heard
we may
about
as
your
well.
they heard about your Deck the Hallmark beat, and they said, "Oh well, our hands were tied."
It's listen, I mean, I think we talked about this when it was still rumor and conjecture. I just feel as
Both
though
of those things, if you can believe it.
Rumor
Yeah.
and conjecture.
I feel as though I think this is what we said that listen, The Way Home, we weren't in love with season 2. Bran lied and said he was, but
Yeah.
it's still by far the best show they have going. And I don't know, for me, maybe if linear is your focus, you keep the best thing you have going on linear. But what do
I would think that all the olds that watch When Calls the Heart and still love it would be the way to get them to streaming. That would be, but clearly, and I will say this, Brandon and I watched the Chicken Sisters, and I think on its best day, the Chicken Sisters is definitely better than season 2 of Way Home, worse than season 1. That's where I would have it.
I think that's probably right.
So like Hallmark Plus is where the cool kids are hanging out, but you'd think they want to get some different demographics over there. I shouldn't have said all the olds, everybody. I'm sorry. Got away from me. It's been a long day.
It's 1:40 in the afternoon.
Listen, I've been sick all week. We're recording 8 podcasts today because it's Christmas, and we're traveling
Dan's
to New
ageist.
Jersey tomorrow.
Dan is ageist.
Hey, you know what, man? You know
Sometimes
what?
it sneaks out.
Dan, maybe you got sick on the front side of Christmas Con this year instead of the back. You're doing it the right way.
Yeah. Instead of not having a voice by the end of it every year, just like Bramblefest, it's like Ryan getting sick on planes. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
I like.
Appointment with my gastro in January. We're nipping that in the old
Yeah, you
bud
are.
in 2025.
That's right. I was like,
What are you gonna actively do?
That's right.
To get ahead of
Start
that.
mainlining Gaviscon a week out.
I mean, listen, I don't know if I should talk about this on the air or not. The reality is I've probably had IBS my whole life, and I probably just need to get that worked on.
And is there
right?
something that planes do that really just?
Well, I'm definitely a nervous flyer. I don't worry about the plane going down. I just like my
You
stomach
worry about
isn't
it
great.
staying up? Like, what's the concern?
No. It's like, especially when we're traveling, Dan, this is why we've been booking travel for evenings the last couple of
That's
trips
right.
I've done with y'all. Booking travel in the morning, I really worry about my schedule. You can fill in the blanks. You know what I'm talking about. And so at that point, I get so tense that by the time I reach my destination, it takes me like days to recover. But
you
the
know,
marathon
like,
was brutal.
they got some of they got some things up in the air.
No.
So you're let's get it out there.
Yeah.
Let's get it out here on the record. You are against dropping a deuce on the toilet on the plane.
What just happened?
I refuse to drop a deuce on a toilet. Yes, it's
On
just
the
on the plane.
I'm not.
toilets are
Listen,
okay.
no, I will say, they're encouraged. I will say that, if the situation, here's what's happening. If the situation arises, I will do it. I so worry about the situation arising that I get so tense. That it's
Wouldn't you
just
think? Wouldn't you think
What's
that
the
then
worry?
traveling?
Right,
Listen,
what's
guys,
the worry?
guys.
But
Listen,
if you
guys,
travel, what worry about?
Guys, I go multiple times in the morning. All right. I go multiple times,
And that's fine. That's fine.
It's fine. We're not mad at
I
you.
don't eat in the morning. When my morning show used to be in the morning, when it was at 10 a.m., those were treacherous. Those were because I was like, what happens if I have to go what if I'm delivering the news and I have to go at 10:25 a.m.? Like, I worry about these things, all right? And I don't
Wow.
appreciate being mocked for it.
Okay.
I'm not trying.
all
I'm
right.
just trying to understand you. You're mistaking.
I mean,
trying to understand.
We do
it for
love
mocking.
you, and we want the best
But-
for you, Rye. But
and this
you,
might
you
be-
gave
you.
me so much ammunition there, and I'm supposed to just be kind about it.
Yes, kindly.
Kindly.
This might. It is
Yeah,
on your shirt.
that's right. Here you
This
go.
might be too much, and then we can dive into season's greetings. But are you
Nah, we
are
don't have
you
to.
incapable of when you realize what's getting ready to occur, you're unable to hold it in?
I
Are
think
you
it's probably
worried
more,
if you hold it in, it's going to ruin your whole system?
Day.
No, well, no. I mean, my system is good. So you guys have seen me on these events. Like, my system's ruined anyway. Like, if you look really closely on the VOD of Bramblefest, at one point I go, "Hey, Bran, you need me for the next 5 minutes?" I literally skedaddled out the side door. Like, I mean, like, the first year was even worse, and then the marathon was a different level.
Well, we
This needs
switched to
be
the
fixed.
bathroom cam for that, so we
We
all
did.
did
It was
get
a
a
bathroom
good,
cam.
good look
Yeah,
at
of
that.
Dude,
course.
I'm not even joking. I got there for the marathon this year. Jackson and I had like a nice 2-hour conversation. Then we were like, was this being recorded?
Yeah.
Like we didn't know what was going on.
How
you know?
serious is real world? Well,
But I will say this: I do hear you can get quite a good new stomach on eBay if you
That's true.
look.
Well, they call me the eBay kid.
the
for a
eBay
reason.
kid. That's
real
right.
quick, how was Muppets Live and
Oh,
what
it
the
was
finger
beautiful.
puppets
How were your
think about
fingers?
it?
Were they happy?
I mean, we brought out Kermit after the intermission. Can you believe that 90-minute film? Not even, and they do an intermission.
They
and you
did
see it
an
with the
that
orchestra?
movie's short, and they did
Yeah.
an intermission.
and it's under 90 minutes.
Orchestras are soft these days. You used to be able to guarantee 90 straight out from them, but
It's
now
like
they
they
can't.
all are Ryan on a plane.
Yeah, you don't know what they have going on, and know you're over there mocking them.
Honestly, for that reason, I respected it. I applauded at the intermission. No one understood what I was doing, but I thought it was great.
you take care of what you need to take care of, cellist.
Yeah, but it was whimsical. It was magical. It was other words that end in L that I don't even.
I
know.
got to go back to one other thing. You brought out Kermit not until after the
That's
intermission.
interesting.
Yeah,
that
I
is-
forgot he was in my fanny pack. If I'm being honest, Yeah,
You can
but-
bring
I-
fanny packs into that
But
symphony.
no, let's not get distracted.
okay, sorry.
You
I wear it as a
forgot
backpack.
that
I don't wear it as a
Kermit
fanny.
But it's not
the
a clear-
frog.
Okay, sorry.
Kermit the Frog.
Hey-o.
You forgot he was in the fanny pack.
Yeah.
Would you
Yeah.
have your 2 Fozzies and 4 Ralphs out there? You couldn't get one Kermit out of the bag?
Don't besmirch Ralph's name like that, Dano. But no, it was great. I recommend. Dan, I think I texted you this. Like, the orchestra was great, but I've never seen that film with a crowd. Laughing at
Yeah,
the jokes with people
yeah.
was like that. I hadn't even considered how cool it would be to see it with an
Yeah.
audience. It was great.
I saw it on the big screen when it came out because I'm old. It is what it is. And you say that I'm ageist, but I'm the old one here. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you are the old.
All
I'm
the
the
olds.
old. All the olds.
All the olds
I can't believe I said
that
that.
are moving over to
They're
the Hallmark
wonderful
Plus.
people. They're all
Hallmark
the
Plus.
olds. I mean, it is no secret that When Calls the Heart's ratings are high, but within the demographic of youngs, it is very low.
Yeah.
Like it's a show that skews older. I shouldn't have said all the olds, and I'm sorry.
How about we just do a way home preview here instead of what we actually have to do?
What do you think? What are your big theories about
What did I call the guy who we thought was Jacob? What was the called him
Roy?
Larry or something?
I don't know.
Roy?
I
Yeah,
gotta refresh myself.
I don't know anything. I don't know anything.
Remember when they brought in Jacob and he wasn't the kid anymore? And we were
Oh
like,
my
what are
God, I
they doing?
can't even
Season
get-
2 wasn't very good. So maybe, I don't
mad.
know.
I don't even
Yeah.
want to talk about
Let's
it.
see what they do.
Yeah.
But do
Let's
we
see.
have to
And
talk
then
about
Brand
this?
was like, this is great.
Yeah. I love it.
Hey,
It's
hey,
back.
hey!
It's back.
I gave you
Here's
space.
Brand. Here's Brand. It's back, baby. We're back,
Oh.
baby.
We
That's
were
Brand.
back a couple of times.
No, we weren't.
And then we were
No,
back
we
gone
weren't.
again.
We were back gone again.
Well, let's talk season's greetings from Cherry Lane. It originally aired on Hallmark Plus on December 5th, 2024, and it went a little something like this. It's Christmas Eve, 2024, and Mike from the one last year is stressed per usual. His husband Z, the calm one, is there to calm him down per usual. Mike feels bad about not doing big Christmas decorations like his dad used to when he was growing up. He also is stressed because he is going to surprise Z by flying his grandfather in for a visit that he never met before. So it's pretty big deal. Cut back to 1951 because that's what these are. And we meet a couple named Charlie and Joan. They are fresh home from the hospital because Joan broke her arm. It is a big Christmas for the two of them because Charlie, who is a doctor, is going to head over to Korea for Dr. War Doctor.
Yeah, he's going to be a war.
He's going to be a war
Yes.
doctor. In 2003, we see a postal worker. My guess here is he might be a part of the dead letter office.
Send me on my way.
Who is thrilled when a couple, Sarah and Luke, give him a Christmas card. You don't do that a lot. There's a, I don't know.
People do it all the time.
Man, not in 2003. 2003, people.
Probably more so then.
Yeah, it was actually a really good time for the country. Really patriotic, and we all came together. So anyway, they're a perfect couple. They're a perfect couple, and they never fight.
Never forget.
They might disagree. They never disagree. That is until Luke's family comes to stay for Christmas and brings a friggin' massive wreath, and then to make things more awkward, her family comes and brings whatever it is that they brought.
Star?
And so the families end up arguing about everything. Wreath versus weird thing, angel versus star. It's a mess out there. That leads to Luke and Sarah having their first fight, baby's first fight. Back in 1951, Charlie and Joan are blown away by the generosity of their neighbors after Charlie accidentally burns the turkey after getting locked out of the house. He is going downstairs to write a Christmas card to his wife that he plans to mail her from war. The letter gets lost in the mail. That is actually the card that Sarah and Luke received at the beginning of the movie. What? This
Like
is
a secret signed sealed delivery.
this is sneaky, but without all the charm and whimsy. It was a dead letter.
Good music.
This brings them together, and they realize what matters the most: the Postal Service. So back in 2024, Grandpa finally shows up after being lost most of the movie, and Z is shocked, didn't know this was happening. He begins to tell them about how about the family, and he reveals that he wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for an American doctor named Charlie. So
Thank goodness for Charlie.
So that's nice. They're all connected. Everything wraps up real nice with a bow, and we're happy, and we're never going to do this again. And that, my friends, was
Christmas
Season's
on
Greetings from Cherry Lane.
Season's Greetings, number 1.
That's right. That's right. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll break this movie down with 4 segments. I think we're going to do 4 segments.
I love that plan.
Good
Deck
plan.
the
Deck the
Hallmark.
Hallmark. Hello. How are we, everybody?
Doing great, man. Excited
All good
to be
over here.
Good.
Yeah.
You don't need a break. You were good there.
The afternoon, I'm all good.
All right. Afternoon. Smooth sailing.
But I just it's a tough life to be Ryan Pappolla. If the mornings are that tough every day, buddy.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I think between middle class trying to get $30 back in my mornings, it's a tough existence. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you put the Muppets and eBay and the City Hive and all on yourself, but the thing that you wake up in the morning and you don't feel comfortable till afternoon, that's brutal, dude.
No, it's by mid 10 o'clock.
Mid 10.
Depends when I wake up.
Mid 10.
Mid 10.
Mid 10.
Mid 10.
Gotcha.
Let's talk
I mean, this is
seasons.
all the CBS.
Let's talk Season's Greetings, Cherry
Should
Lane.
also be on Hallmark Plus. For
Um,
the olds.
now, Ryan, you hadn't seen Cherry Lane from
Did you
last
go and
year.
watch it?
I'm
Still
s-
haven't. Didn't do my homework.
Oh,
Glad I
no.
did.
Oh,
Glad Professor Thompson didn't do my homework.
Oh no.
That's Mr. Thompson to you, sir.
Yeah.
Let's dive into it then. What'd you think about your first venture into the Cherry Lane cinematic universe?
Honestly, I'm glad that we were just talking about Way Home season 2 because I think we all agreed wasn't great. I covered Ride with you all. I think we all agreed pretty bad.
Yeah.
I want to say unequivocally, this 2003 storyline is the worst thing I've ever covered for this
It is
podcast.
really bad.
It's one of the worst things I've ever seen in the made-for-TV Christmas genre ever. It was awful. It was awful. At one point when it started, probably right around the time of the letter, 2003 was a big year for letters. I was writing a note, and so I looked down real quick, and by the time I looked back up, they were doing the deal where they're like, "We never fight. Our parents love each other," and I thought it was like Joe Schmo. I thought I had missed something and that they were doing a self-parody. I don't want to be rude to these actors. I'm sure they're nice people. They're working hard. The performances were bad. The writing was bad.
Yeah.
That 2003 storyline was really, 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 really bad.
Yeah.
With that said, the one from the 1950s was whatever. It's what I expect from a film like this. It was forgettable. The Jonathan Bennett stuff I thought was pretty fun. I thought that it was a noticeable step up from the other two storylines.
Well, that's the couple that's from the original one. So this, So there's that.
And I thought Jonathan Bennett particularly was very fun in this film. There was actually a few moments that, like, I don't know how to say made me laugh, but came close to it.
I don't want to give it that credit.
Yeah, but yeah, listen, I've seen in my own time, not for, podcasts where I'm being compensated to go on Electronic Bay. I have seen some really bad made for TV Christmas movies. I own some of them on physical media. This is there's a fine line between so bad it's good and just really bad.
Yeah.
This obliterated that line. It was awful, and I hope to never see it again, Brent.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair take.
Thank you.
That's the guy that likes these movies, everybody, Ryan Pappolla.
Well, he's got some points.
Wonder
and
what I'm gonna think.
This movie was, I was concerned. If you remember, if you go back to the previous shows, I was concerned about doing this, not one time, but 3 times, because it's 369. If you think about it in that sense, it's just a lot of different things, and so there's no way they can do it all well. And unfortunately, it was true. I was right. They didn't do it all well, and so that's a bummer. I think we can all agree the highlights here are the Jonathan Bennett's World, and the lowlights is 2003. 2003 was a tough slime.
Tough slime.
I just didn't care for it, and every time we were in 2003, I wish that we weren't. And unfortunately, I feel like we spent the most time in 2003.
Yeah, I did feel
and
that
I
way.
just don't
Time
really
was standing still.
I don't
at that
really know
point,
why, and so that was confusing. And then at one point during this movie, Dan and I had the realization, like in the first one, they're gonna have it all connect in some way, shape, or form, and I felt like they also had that realization halfway through the movie because it was so unnecessary the way that these.
Oh my gosh.
I will say the thing that Cherry Lane 1 2023 did well was that I felt like the way that the stories were connected made sense and it felt thought out. This just felt thrown together, and I didn't care for that. So unfortunately, it was a miss for me. But we got 2 more. We got 2 more.
Everybody get up.
Let's go.
We're back, baby.
In the words of not Taylor Swift, let's freaking go.
Let's freaking go.
We're going to be back. Dano?
Give me all 3 Dan Bays and 2 Unwrapping Christmases over this movie, and it's not even close.
Wow.
I will take 2 of the 4 Unwrapping Christmas movies over this movie, and I gotta be honest, the other 2 is kind of a push. This movie's bad, guys. It's a bad movie. The first Cherry Lane had 2 really solid storylines and 1 that wasn't any good. This movie has 2 storylines that are immeasurably bad and 1 that is just standard bad. There is not an end in sight. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. It's just bad. It also commits some pretty big cardinal sins for movies in general that drive me nuts. 1, Cherry Lane is the most diverse street in all of 1951 in the United States of America. Bothered me to no end, but not as much as my least favorite trope, maybe in movie history, the white savior movie or the Thank God for White People movie, where all of this diverse cast of characters only happened because of one good white dude who went to fight for his country. Amen. And it was just unnecessary. So if the movie was good, if you make a good movie and you have those 2 things, like Holiday Spectacular decided in the 1950s the Rockettes were just going to be integrated. Okay, I had a problem with it, but I got over it because the movie has some quality to it, some good writing, some good direction. You can get past those things if you make a good movie. If you do those 2 things and then make a bad movie in 1951, a slightly above bad movie in 2024, and an absolutely, I cannot believe I'm watching this purgatory movie in 2003, you don't get a pass. It's a terrible movie. The unwrapping Christmas movies bring more joy than this movie ever thought it could bring. All 3 movies on the Danube River right now. I'll take them right now. I was bored to tears. It sucked. Bran, back to you.
Thanks, Dan.
You, Brand.
How about freeze-dried Skittles?
These burn a little.
It's crazy.
All right,
Have you
bud?
heard about this?
The sours, yeah.
They're freeze-dried Skittles?
No,
they're
they're
freeze-dried.
Oh, they come that way.
We didn't buy a freeze dryer, although we're thinking about
Although
it.
we're kicking
Look
around
at
the
these
old
things. Look at these. Can you see those? They're like,
Oh, wow. Look
yeah,
at that.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
They're wild.
It's good for podcasting.
Let's get to all the feels where we talk about what in this movie gave us feels. Ryan?
Bran, I feel as though this may be yours. The Jonathan Bennett storyline, the overall crux of it really reminded me of the Hey Arnold Christmas special. And
Well done, good poll.
yeah, and honestly, this movie was so bad, it was just nice to think about the Hey Arnold Christmas special every few minutes.
You know what? I'll take that. I'll take that. I love Hey Arnold. I love the Hey Arnold. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, I'm on delay. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-da.
Ba-da-ba-dam.
Arnold!
Ba-da-ba-dam.
Move it, football head!
Hey Arnold. That's mine too. Dan?
Oh, it's my turn already, huh?
Is yours Hey Arnold?
Sour Skittles Pop. You can buy them in Target. Delicious. I'm on board. I was originally not on board. I've come full circle.
They're a fascinating experience. I've never had a candy that has made me think more
Yeah.
than the Skittles.
And Bran thinks about candy.
I think about it a lot.
Yeah.
Almost all the time.
This is going to be
Let's
one of our better episodes.
take
I
a quick
think.
break. We'll come back and we'll talk about this movie some more or not. Here on Deck the Hallmark. I got it again. What the? Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about Season's Greetings from Cherry Lane. The worst thing they did was try to give these all a different name. Like
Terrible
next
title.
week's is like Happy Holidays.
Ugh.
Does any of them Merry Christmas? See, this is what I'm talking about.
But,
This is what I'm
Aaron,
talking
You
about.
saw the chat. Like, people in the Double Decker group were higher on this movie than we were, aren't they?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay. I thought.
There wasn't a movie thread for this one because it
Oh,
aired.
I thought
That
I
was a
saw-
good call.
okay.
That was a good call.
Yeah.
No,
let-
the only thing I saw was that people like. I just want to know if Charlie makes it home from war. It's the only thing I care about. I've looked ahead to the storylines that are coming in the other 2 movies. The only thing I care about in all 6 of these Cherry Lane movies is, did Charlie make it back? That's
well, maybe we'll find out. Maybe we won't.
yeah. I've got to watch 2 more movies to find out.
I
and
could not feel that.
Let's get to the Wait What's. This is where we talk about what in this few minutes go. Wait, what? Ryan?
Thanks, Hallmark Daddy. I almost feel like this is giving.
Weird when you say it.
You're welcome, son.
I almost feel like this is giving the film too much dignity.
It is.
But the fact that this 2003 couple didn't talk about the Christmas Eve menu beforehand.
You got to be effing kidding me.
Like,
There's
again,
just no
like-
way.
And like, I only have a couple. I mean, you could have had any number of wait what's for this film, right? Like,
I don't
honestly,
have
mine
many.
are like mine are like practical. It's almost because I feel like I cared so little that I wasn't looking with the inquisitive eye that I typically would. But the fact that this is the premise, and the next one would be like how they're Vikings season ticket holders. And they're not even going to think about turning the game on when they get. Are you kidding me?
They are.
you?
They're Viking season ticket holders, and they have a conversation in this movie that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard on Hallmark. Somebody says, "What about football?" And somebody goes, "I could go for football. Maybe there's a game on." And then another person who holds season tickets to the Vikings says something to the effect of, "I like a good game on occasion." If you hold season tickets to the Vikings,
thousands
you are
of dollars.
screaming skull with your giant horn hat on. You're not like, I could go for a game on occasion. Get out of here. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Also, you're just independently wealthy if you're season ticket
Yeah.
holders. Yeah. And then last one, still in this 2003 storyline. The fact that at no point I was so mad by the end of this movie. I was so mad. Like
Yep.
I can't stress enough how bad I thought this 2003 thing was. The fact that at no point they just go, yeah, why don't we hang the big wreath and the stupid reindeer thing in 2 separate locations?
I was
Like, and
yes,
like, and
yes,
it's like
irrationally
it's
angry.
stupid, Bran. And with that, I'll kick it to you.
Thanks. I have a few as well. How do you even have this conversation? Competition in 2003 where they do the ribbon down. I know they show you, but it still is ultimately, so they have different ideas of how you should decorate a Christmas tree. So they do it down the middle and then they're like, we'll see which one wins. But it's like, how? Because like everybody, it's still based on like preference and like if you like it or not. So I just don't really think it accomplishes what they hoped for. One of my favorite moments that happened in this movie was Z walking into the kitchen and saying guilty, and Jonathan Bennett turning around and be like, I didn't do anything. And he's like, what are you talking about? I was just walking in because I feel bad because you aren't working today, but you still had to cook. Who does that? Who walks in and just goes guilty with no no conversation ahead of time, no nothing? It is a wild thing to go in and just say I'm guilty and expect that anybody else is going to pick up on what you're talking about. But guilty. Our guy Julian, who has wine and stuff, is going to help the folks in the 50s get back into their house. To do that, he is going to use a bottle opener. But before getting into the house, which is almost on fire, he says, you never know when you might need a bottle opener. Maybe save and this coming from me, but maybe save the bits for later. Maybe save the bits
That's when you
until after you save the day, and you can be like, you never know when you might need a bottle opener. Show up at the door and be like, wait 1 second. You never know when you might need it. You could have been in, you could have saved the day. And that's the difference between fire or no fire. Is could be seconds, Stan.
Seconds.
And that's why every house needs a working fire extinguisher.
Smoke detector. Things that weren't really around in the 50s.
Well, what is it? What's the line in the Santa Claus?
Really big, Dad.
What's the line in the Santa Claus about the fire extinguisher?
Oh, what is it?
You nailed it.
I did.
Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah.
And most names are really big, Dad. It's Denny's. It's an American institution.
That's exactly right.
At least we know they got hot apple pie.
We did. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Listen, I know the whole bit is Jeff Gustafson is in Signed Sealed Delivered, and he's a postal worker delivering a dead letter in this movie, and that's cute and fun. I've never seen a postal worker stay longer at one residence than this human being. Like, the thing about, I worked for UPS, the thing about postal workers and parcel deliveries, they're in a hurry. Like, their whole thing is they're delivering the mail and they have to get it all done today. Like, there's more mail tomorrow. If Jeff Gustafson is going to have a full conversation with a Christmas card at every house, he's not getting done. He just isn't finishing. And every time I see a postal worker working one of these movies, I want them to walk with purpose and like continue doing their job, because that's what postal workers do. They work really, really hard, and this was crazy. This guy, what's the guy's name that's helping Jonathan Bennett and his husband in?
I don't know his
with
name.
The beard. He comes over to the house with a green bean casserole and says, "I brought you a green bean casserole. It's not good. I'm not good at cooking." But buddy, nobody asked you. Like, can you imagine going to somebody's house and being like, I felt like I had to bring something, so what I did was I made you a really bad dish of food. Like, it is bad. I don't cook. I don't cook, but I thought I would for you. I just don't get that. Bring them a nice bottle of wine. Bring them literally anything else. Green bean casserole, the best green bean casserole, probably still dicey for some people. That's not a food that, like,
it's dicey for me.
That's right. You just think about
pass.
it. A bad green bean casserole? Like, why are you?
Get out of here.
Like, dude, nobody asked you. Nobody asked you to bring anything. He's like, well, I don't cook, so I thought I'd home make you something that sucks. Yeah, that's not good. I wrote down, you can play more than one song on the piano. The fact that they're arguing about wreath or star, or which way to decorate a tree, or Vikings or Seahawks, all of that is terrible. But nothing is as bad as which Christmas carol do we play on the piano, because you can play both. They don't have to play one song. They can play as many. You sing around the piano Everybody gets to choose. Nobody has to give here. What in the 2003 is happening?
The keyboard only has one good song left in it, and then it's going to short out.
They're trying. The kids are trying to sell the parents on Silent Night like it's a used Ford Fiesta. Like, what are we doing? It's Silent Night. Who doesn't like Silent Night?
The piano's like, I'm not as good as I once was, but I can be as good once.
I'm as good once as I ever was. Toby Keith, shout out. A lot of 2003 references today. Really, really good stuff. I'd also like, the piano was kind of the headliner for me, but somebody briefly says in 2024 that they have a movie theater at the airport. And
I wish.
I made sure the context was correct, but there is someone that's saying in the airport, Rye Guy, can you imagine in the airport?
Oh, man.
A cinema.
Isn't that the best idea?
Imagine, especially if it was AMC or Regal for us.
Oh, the unlimited? Forget it. But then you're missing flights.
You're missing flights.
Would you be more relaxed for your stomach traveling if you had a movie
Well,
theater?
it depends on time of day. And also, though, I mean, like, that would be the way to get us three bozos to the airport hours early.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I'm not missing a flight if I can get there 4 hours
Ryan's
early
like,
and catch
again,
a
I
movie.
can't emphasize this enough, but if it's the morning,
Yeah, there's nothing
there's
I can
nothing
do.
I can do.
My hands
movie
are tied.
Movie or no.
My intestines are tied from 6 a.m. to 10:30.
If it's Gladiator 2 before 11 a.m., I can't do it.
Well, I mean, like my thing is they're serving beer at that theater. It's the airport. I mean, and I do much for you, Rye Guy, but I mean, a 10 a.m. draft beer and a movie?
Is this our like Shark Tank idea? Should we actually do this? Like,
it's fantastic. And then last but not least, the whole point of when you get married or you decide to cohabitate with somebody and live together, the whole thing is getting to establish your own traditions. Like that's the whole
ballgame.
That's the whole ballgame. 2 Corinthians. And so the fact that these parents are coming over and saying, we're going to do it the way we've always done it, the fact that you're here and not at your house should be your first clue that you're not going to do it that way. Like this should not, all the parents should shut up and the kids should just decide what their traditions are and to see if the parents want to be a part of it. And that was mind-boggling to me.
It's time for What the Hallmark. Oh, hi, Aaron. Yes?
Can I just mention a wait what that I didn't have while watching it, but when I saw you guys watching it today,
Sure.
Dan made a good point. Charlie is overseas serving as a doctor in Korea.
The Korean War,
But
1950 to 53.
Lolo was raised, like he was living in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And then the family, like
Yeah.
Zion's parents leave the Philippines and go to China, which is where he was adopted from.
Okay.
But how did Grandpa end up in Korea to have surgery from Charlie?
If they ended up in China, I know how. In the Korean War, the Chinese flooded North Korea to help fight against the UN, the US, and South Korea. So if he was a soldier in China...
Well, I thought Grandpa stayed in the Philippines. And
okay. Because that was a big one for me. I just didn't know how to broach on the show, but I thought you did it very, like, articulated it wonderfully. I was like, he went to Korea. That dude's Filipino. How did he save his life? I think that's a fair question. But I
guess if Grandpa went with the couple to China,
if Grandpa was in China, then it works.
Yes, then that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's the Incheon Peninsula. You know the battle, right?
Maybe we
one of the worst.
Yeah. So thank goodness you're a history teacher.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe we solved that. Wait, what? But
I
yeah.
did.
If they're in, like, I didn't have it figured out, but then you said China, and I'm like, maybe that's.
This is why we do this. This is why we do this. We got to work.
I guess we'll have to watch the other two to find out for sure.
No.
I have a feeling we're not going to hear any more about these families.
I also have a feeling that this is the best of them.
Oh no!
No, there's one with a really good cast.
One has Benjamin Ayers.
There's a really good cast at the end. It's like loaded, like a really
loaded. Let's get to the What the Hallmarks, where we talk about things that we're still wondering. Now, we do got 2 sequels to go, so maybe some of these will be answered, maybe not. Who can say? But what do you got, Rye?
Well, to that point, like, what would it take for us to just abandon ship now? Like, what would you guys be looking for? Like, we can go to the mystery show, we can go to holidays. Like, what are you looking for?
You're,
like, how?
You're pitching the right person. I will say, we've never. The problem is,
Never abandoned.
That's
ship
right.
before.
For all the money in the world, I don't want to watch another second of these. However, Deck the Hallmark has never been in existence and not covered all of the Hallmark Christmas movies. And so we're at an impasse. If this was a Dan-Bay situation, we'd have moved on. I get the feeling we'd have probably been like, we don't need to do this anymore. I think we get it. But I think we're going to watch the next two right now.
Our hands are tied.
I think we got two.
Our hands are
Thought
tied.
I'd ask.
That's fair. It's a fair question.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just
Sorry. Go ahead.
Deck the Halls on Cherry Lane. John Brotherton, Benjamin Hollingsworth, Chelsea Hobbs, Sam Page, Aaron Cahill, Brooke Dorsey. Directed by Ali Liebert.
You say Sam Page?
I did say Sam Page. So that does
Sam
sting a
Page?
little.
Sam Page back?
Ugh.
My guy Sam Page, is he back? Yeah, I don't know, man. What's up with 2003? I don't think that listen, I hope that this couple learned a valuable lesson about having hard conversations and communication and whatnot, but I worry about them, and you know, they make it.
I just
Did
hope
they
they're
make
not
it?
sorry for 2004. Am I right?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, well, that's we'll save it. We'll save Ruben. Dan?
Yeah, I think earlier producer Erin Shea said she wondered if Charlie got back from war, and that has been just sticking in my noodle. I just can't get. That's all I've been thinking about since
You're
I
so
watched this
concerned
movie.
about him.
I just am like,
You're so concerned about him.
God, I hope he makes it. Did he make it? But did he make it back? Or did he sacrifice his life to save that other guy?
And to save Cherry
And
Lane.
I also will say this, if the grandfather was in China, then he was fighting against Charlie in that war. So that means Charlie did surgery on an enemy from North Korea via China, which,
What a good guy.
what a guy. I
That's
mean,
next year's prequel.
sheesh.
Surgery from Cherry
He
Lane to
does
Jason.
come back
Yeah.
and then he gets it. He wins a chocolate factory from what I understand.
He does. And that's actually how it all starts.
It all starts.
Now,
yeah.
I will say this. Can we just talk about the God wink that is Charlie in 1951 living at
I
7
can't.
Cherry Lane? And what is that? How long is it
to 73 years. later.
73 years later, the grandson of the guy that Charlie saved from the enemy
Living
at
in
war
his house.
lives in his house. God, that's better than that's God. God
blinking.
winks like we can't.
Both eyes on that one.
Yeah,
Both eyes.
God whipped an eye patch out.
Even the God wink movies are like we could never in our wildest dreams come up with something like this.
Kathy Gifford fell over when she saw that.
Did you catch the lesser God wink of Jonathan's father being so in love with this decoration that he started doing it at their house, but Jonathan could never remember what house he saw it was, and it's the wreath from the 2003 family.
Ugh, no.
So
didn't.
the whole present that like Jonathan's husband and daughter are doing, where they're putting the cards on the wreath, that is the tradition that the 2003 family started. And now we're all back here at 7 Cherry Lane.
Oh, I actually have a What the Hallmark. Now
Okay.
that we're here and we're doing it. What
You
are
don't
we,
care about
what
Charlie
is this,
anymore?
He doesn't actually care
a
about Charlie.
12-minute episode. we got 2 more of these movies, and we're going to introduce a minimum of 4 more families. So we have the 3 original families, and then 3 new movies that introduce 2 new families each. So that's 6 plus 3 is 9. From 1951 to 2024.
9 families.
9 families live in this house.
No, I think they changed houses. I think it's on different houses on the street.
Okay.
It's all 7.
It's all of them are 7 Cherry Lane. Yikes!
Are you
a
sure,
bucks.
Aaron?
The 3 in the original are all 7, and the 3 from this movie are all 7. They zoom in on the
Wow.
mailbox so often, and then Daisy's always coming
Ryan,
over like.
is there something that you know that we
Have
don't
you
know?
watched the other ones?
I can't confirm or deny, but I think
This is a Izzy at the North Pole situation all over again. Is all this is. That's what this is.
I think at
Oh,
least
boy.
I think at least one of them is in a different house.
I don't
Right,
think so.
guys.
You know?
I don't think so,
Right,
Ryan.
guy, if you have already seen another one of these movies and you're still this low on this one, I am so depressed right now.
Well,
They're
here
not
was
even
the
out
scary thing. Here was the
Yeah,
real
they're not
scary
out
thing.
yet.
Oh,
I did.
yeah,
they're not out.
they're not out
They're not
yet,
out
Aaron.
yet.
Yeah. My what the hallmark was like. What if we stop? I was actually worried that you'd be like, yeah, great idea. Let's do something else.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh my
No,
gosh.
they're all 7 Cherry Lane.
Well, we did it, everybody. Congratulations to us, and we're gonna do this again next time. I don't know. Whatever. What day is it?
They can't all be
Is
hits.
this Saturday?
Oh, Sunday.
Thursday.
Sunday.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Sunday.
Today's Sunday.
And I
Today
said,
is
How
Sun-
was Christmas con?
And I
we're
said,
still there
We're
today.
there.
Come
We're there
say
today.
hi.
Yeah, we're come
Come
say
say hi, everybody.
Ryan didn't find time in his schedule for us all weekend. It was unbelievable.
No, but I haven't
You
told you,
guys
that.
came to Connecticut though on Thursday,
So
right?
I haven't told you this. Ryan's been doing the hard pitch to me to come to Connecticut on Thursday.
And you didn't have the heart to tell him we have plans?
I did have the heart to tell him to come to. I was like, come
Dude.
to Philadelphia, come to Philly.
I can't
Dude,
do it.
road trip.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
Can't
But,
do it.
After Philly, you guys like
Can't
it's
do
like
it
a
or
hop and a
won't do
skip.
it. You asked us to go to Connecticut. You're wide open.
I asked you to come to Connecticut in the evening after I'm done with
That's
work.
what
after you
we-
guys
that's
are
where
we're
done.
not, we're not
going.
leaving for Philadelphia from New Jersey until like 7:30 at night.
Are you really just gonna get a cheese? I mean, this already happened, but did you really just get a
We got
cheesesteak and come back?
It's a $150 cheesesteak. It's not a cheesesteak. It's a
Put some
one,
respect on it.
It's a $150. That's Bramble Jam Plus. You can get it
that
at
on the company
$5.
card?
Yeah, company card. Yeah,
Merry Christmas.
dude, come on.
I come
For the hangs.
came on because it was in the back.
You
Well,
did.
I
You
was
did
already
it.
there. Yeah.
That's
This
right.
breaks every rule of time travel.
On Sunday, I said, God put on an eye patch. Huh? Wow, that's unbelievable.
Your mom's gonna message you. We'll be back tomorrow with another one. Until then, remember the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.